Let's talk about how you got here. You're an independent senator. You can pick and choose issues that you want to advocate for in the public interest. There's a wide spectrum of them.
Yeah.
How did you land on assisted death?
Well, I think it is something in the first place that I grew up with. My father worked in a small town hospital in Saskatchewan. We always had very pragmatic discussions around the supper table about health. Under what conditions did people have a quality of life? Very seldom does a young person have that discussion about quantity versus quality when it comes to life. So this conversation started with my parents when they were both very 100% with it, not ill. We talked about wills, we talked about their end of life care decisions, how they saw this. So when it came, and my father eventually died of painful cancers, my mother, who was a brilliant, composed woman who was a teacher in all respects of that word, succumbed to Alzheimer's, and to watch her become a person that she wasn't, to become someone that she didn't know and that we didn't know, and the lack of control over her own life, it just registered with me. It just was, it did not seem right. It did not seem fair. My mother and father were in two separate institutions because of their conditions. My father said, bring your mother over. I'm going to tell her that the jig is up for me, right? And we're going to say our goodbyes. So I brought my mother over to where Dad was because I could put her in a wheelchair. And he very rationally looked at her and said, this is it, sweetheart. I am not going to make it. I know I promised I would look after you, but I can't. And so we should say goodbye. And my mother, who had been nonverbal for about 3 months at that point, said, well, if this is goodbye, sweetheart, give me a kiss. This is what happened to me at that moment. And it will happen every time I tell that story for the rest of my life. But she went back and made her own decision to depart. So we have got to give people the freedom to make these kinds of decisions when they can speak for themselves, even if it's in a written form.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it was also a beautiful moment. And I will treasure that as much as it makes me angry. I will also treasure that moment of connection they had before they left.